Welcome to Just Ask, brought to you by the National Research and Training Center on Blindness and Low Vision. Funding provided by the Neidler Grant number 90R TEM 0015. Working alongside blind and low vision colleagues with Dr. Stephanie Welch-Grenier of the NRTC.
Hello. If you are watching this video, it probably means that you have a coworker or will soon have a coworker who is blind or has low vision. First, we want to thank you for your interest in learning how to make your work environment welcoming to your new coworker. The most important thing to remember is that your coworker is just a person who has difficulty seeing, but they are like your other coworkers in most ways. You don't have to be uncomfortable or anxious about interacting with them, although many people do experience these sensations when initially interacting with someone who is blind or has low vision. This is normal, but is mostly based on a lack of knowledge and experience and uncertainty about how to act. Watching this video will help you learn about interacting with people who are blind or have low vision, and we certainly hope it will set you at ease to interact with your new coworker like you would anyone else. Throughout this course, please keep one simple idea in mind. If you are unsure, just ask. Most people appreciate the chance to share their preferences, and asking shows respect.
Understanding the Spectrum of Blindness and Low Vision with Nancy Parkin-Bachisi, owner of Luxient LLC.
Blindness and low vision describe a wide range of experiences. Vision loss occurs on a spectrum. You may have heard about the term legal blindness. Legal blindness is an eligibility definition tied to measurable criteria, not a description of complete vision loss. Most people with vision loss are not totally blind. For example, some individuals can't see anything at all. Others may only see shapes, movement, or lights. Many people have usable vision, but may experience limitations such as reduced clarity, reduced contrast sensitivity, or reduced peripheral vision. Reduced clarity can look like blur or loss of sharpness. Reduced peripheral vision affects what you can see to the sides while looking straight ahead. For those with usable vision, vision can fluctuate with fatigue, lighting, or time of day. Every person uses different strategies and tools to help them perform tasks in alternative ways. Because of this, it's better not to assume what someone can or cannot see based on the tools they use. A friendly rule of thumb: let the person guide you about what works best for them. Remember, just ask.
Assistive Technology Overview with Leah Rowe, National Executive Director of the Blinded Veterans Association.
People who are blind or have low vision often use a mix of assistive tools such as 1. Screen readers for the computer and smartphones, such as JAWS, NVDA, VoiceOver. 2. Screen magnifiers for the computer and smartphones. 3. Refreshable Braille displays. 4. Mobile apps for reading, labeling, and navigation. 5. Handheld or desktop magnifiers. 6. White canes or guide dogs. You don't need to be an expert in these, but it's helpful to know they exist to help your coworkers access computers, phones, and printed materials. When someone using these technologies encounter inaccessible files and programs, which are very common in the workplace, completing their task may take longer. Creating accessible documents is an easy way to support everyone.
Etiquette for Everyday Interactions with Richard Rueda, Assistant Director of Connect Center for the American Printing House for the Blind.
Some people are a little apprehensive about interacting with someone who is blind, but you don't need to be. Just keep these suggestions in mind when you interact with your coworker. Introduce yourself by name. When you walk into a room, say, "Hi, John, this is Taylor," even if you think the person will recognize your voice. It removes uncertainty. Stating the person's name lets them know you are speaking to them rather than someone else in the room. Identify who is in meetings. At the start of any meeting, briefly list who is present or who is participating virtually. Use names throughout the meeting to indicate who is speaking. Announce when you leave or step away. A simple "I'm heading out for a minute" prevents the person from talking into an empty room. Describe important visual information about things your colleague cannot see. 1, your supervisor just walked in, and 2, everyone is raising their hands. Think about what information you would want to know in the same situation. Give clear, concrete, and directional information. Use specific language. Your chair is 2 feet in front of you at 11 o'clock, rather than pointing or saying "over there." Assisting with seating. At conference tables or in large rooms, mention where empty chairs are and if the layout has changed.
Dog Guide Etiquette with Nimmer Jabber, an accessibility analyst for Google.
Only a minority of BLV individuals use dog guides.
Interact with the person, not the dog. Do not pet, feed, or distract the dog. Remember, the dog is working, even if it looks cute.
Being inclusive.
It's important to design staff activities and events with accessibility in mind from the start. Planning for adaptations during the early design and planning stages can help ensure full and meaningful participation for all colleagues. There was an event that my colleagues were planning for, a team event, and they decided that we were all going to go play pickleball. My colleague reached out, the individual who was organizing it reached out to me. Initially, I was a little bit hesitant about it. I didn't know if it was going to be accessible, but they reached out and they said that they had found accessible pickleballs. They had bells, and they would also help provide any information or orientation around the court. And I felt very included. And so I went to the pickleball event and found that it was very successful. So that was absolutely great. So remember, colleagues who are blind or have low vision bring the same skills, expectations, and professionalism as anyone else. They simply do things possibly a little bit differently with tools and techniques. As one advocate states, relax. We're just people. Conversing with us is the same as conversing with anyone else. Avoid praising someone for doing everyday tasks. Don't tell us we're inspiring for doing everyday things.
Orientation to physical space. With Jenny Ruggiero, Senior Vocational Rehabilitation Counselor for the Blind for the California Department of Rehabilitation.
A brief walkthrough of the workspace helps a new colleague get oriented. Some features to point out may include room layout, hallway routes, landmarks such as restrooms, unique features such as alcoves, stairways, or other highly packed areas, doorways or cabinets that protrude into walkways, along with any security systems or badge readers. Be sure to include visual details like posted signs and wall directories, as this helps build independence right away. It is highly important not to move anything in the physical environment without letting your blind or low vision colleague know.
Orientation to the surrounding area with Jeremiah Rogers, Senior Accessibility Engineer at TPGI, a Vispero company.
Sharing a few details about the neighborhood is helpful and makes the person feel included. Popular lunch places, nearest coffee shop, pharmacies, convenience stores, dry cleaners, public transportation stops, or rideshare pickup points. Invite your new colleague to social gatherings. Early in my career, I worked at a place where for more than a year, the only thing my colleagues ever talked with me about was being blind. Then one day, out of the blue, a colleague invited me to coffee, and we spent a half hour talking about anything except blindness. He asked about my children, my hobbies, etc. With that opening, other colleagues did the same, and my social opportunities and inclusion in the office were notably improved. Inviting colleagues to join lunches or other social gatherings goes a long way.
Misconceptions about language with Jenna Lee Ruggiero.
It's completely okay to use everyday words like see, watch, or look. Most people who are blind or low vision use these words themselves, so there is no need to overcorrect your vocabulary.
Accessible emails and documents with Dr. Ariel Silverman, Director of Research for the American Foundation for the Blind.
Many workplace challenges arise from inaccessible digital content. Accessibility in digital content can make a big difference for them. A few easy habits include 1. Using built-in heading styles in Word. 2. Adding alt text to images. 3. Avoiding screenshots of text and text in image format only. And 4. Ensuring good color contrast and easily readable fonts like Arial or Tahoma. These small steps help everyone, not just those using assistive technology. Good news! Programs you already use include accessibility checkers. Microsoft 365 apps like Word, PowerPoint, Excel, and Outlook, Adobe Pro for PDFs, and Canva. Running the checker is a quick first step to catch common accessibility issues before sharing. Research insight. In the NRTC's AT in the Workplace study, more than 95% of participants cited that inaccessible and/or hard-to-use digital content, like documents, websites, and software, was one of the largest challenges for blind and low vision employees. Open-ended comments described frustration with 1. Emails containing images without alt text. 2. PDFs converted from scanned documents. 3. Tables or forms that a screen reader could not interpret. And 4. Inaccessible screen shares during virtual meetings. To learn more about the findings from our AT in the Workplace study, visit the links in our video description.
The following is a short demonstration of a screen reader trying to read an inaccessible email.
Station-Welch-Greenier, Stephanie-Outlook. Hope you can attend. Party invitation and details below :
The screen reader is able to read the text in the body of the email. But when directed to the flyer, there isn't any alternate text or descriptions for the screen reader to read.
Outlook.cloud.microsoft/936F7800-C9F.
Instead, the screen reader may announce only graphic, read the image's file name or linked URL, or skip the image entirely, depending on how the email is coded. Inaccessible documents can be frustrating, hard to understand, and hurt productivity. Offering occasional assistance with Scott Thornhill, Executive Director of the American Council of the Blind.
Once oriented, your colleague will likely work independently and efficiently, but inaccessible systems or websites may create occasional barriers. In those moments, a little help reading or navigating is appreciated. Your colleague will likely ask for help when needed. If you think your colleague needs help but hasn't asked, just ask first before providing help. Supporting someone's preferences shows trust and respect.
Using human guide techniques with Daniel E. Norris, Executive Director of the Vermont Association for the Blind and Visually Impaired.
If your colleague asks for physical assistance, the technique is simple. Allow them to take your elbow and walk at a comfortable, normal pace. This allows for safety and provides your colleague autonomy and control. As you walk, especially in unfamiliar areas, providing a brief description of the visual environment can be very helpful. Ask your colleague how much detail they'd like, because some people like step-by-step description of the area, while others prefer just major changes in terrain or landmarks as they're approached. A short video demonstration can help all staff feel more comfortable using human guide techniques. Consider using the quick tutorial video linked in the description down below with your staff today.
Do your own research with Dr. Stephanie Welch-Grenier.
While colleagues are happy to answer questions, they shouldn't have to carry the full load of educating everyone. Resources like blogs, videos, and disability inclusion toolkits are available and often free. For additional details, visit the links in our video description.
Closing remarks.
Creating an inclusive workplace doesn't require special expertise, just openness, communication, and a willingness to ask rather than assume. When disability inclusion becomes part of the culture, everyone benefits. And when people with disabilities are represented at all levels of an organization, it sends a powerful message that inclusion matters. Thank you for watching.
Just ask. The contents of this resource were developed under a grant from the National Institute on Disability, Independent Living, and Rehabilitation Research. Neidler Grant Number 9, 0RT EM0015. The contents of this resource do not necessarily represent the policy of Neidler, ACL, or HHS, and you should not assume endorsement by the federal government.